Well, good evening, everyone. Before we get started with General Committee, I'll be handing the floor over to Mayor McGarry. We've got a special council meeting we're just going to run through very quickly, and then we'll get into General Committee. Mayor McGarry, it's yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Hello, everyone. My name is Catherine McGarry, and Mayor of the City of Cambridge and Chair of tonight's special council meeting. Council met in closed session this evening, and we will now rise. Councillor Reid, you have the motion. Please read it in its entirety.
I do. Thank you, Mayor McGarry. It's moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Devine that Council rise from closed session and reconvene in open session.
Thank you. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? And that carries. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, we'll move forward. And Councillor Mann, you have the confirmatory bylaw. Please read the motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do. It's moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Mike Devine, the confirmatory bylaw, being a bylaw of the City of Cambridge to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Corporation of the City of Cambridge at its special meeting held on the 4th day of February 2020. Passed and enacted this 4th day of February 2020.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'll now call for the vote if there's no comments. Are there comments? All those in favor, please raise your hands. And that carries. And now, Councillor Liggett, I know you have the motion. You turned your light on.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Demand, that the special council meeting does now adjourn at 7 o'clock.
Thank you. Any comments?
Oh, Councillor Devine. Did I say that?
Councillor Devine is the seconder. On, please. Can you turn my mic? Thank you. So I'll now call the vote. All those in favor? And that carries. Thanks very much, everyone. Over to you, Mr. Chair.
Well, thank you, Your Worship. I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is a meeting of the General Committee. Good evening, everyone. My name is Nicholas Ameta, Ward 8 Councillor, and I'll be chairing tonight's General Committee meeting. Before we begin, I would like to provide you with a safety notice. In the event of an emergency, please evacuate the council chambers by the nearest exit staircase, which is located through the doorways marked exit, and please obey all instructions given by the clerk. If assistance is required, please see the clerk. And once you have evacuated the building, please gather in the Farmers Market parking lot outside of City Hall. I would like to thank both the media and public for attending today's meeting. And as a reminder, the City of Cambridge Committee and Council meetings are live, webcasted, and archived on the City's website. Lastly, I would like to remind everyone that we do have rules of engagement in Council and Committee meetings. Please be respectful while others are speaking. We do not permit clapping, cheering, laughing, heckling, or any other form of demonstration. And we ask that everyone listen respectfully as you would want to be listened to. And please adhere to the procedural bylaw and try to limit your questions to 2 at a time. So for introductions, I would like to introduce the members of Council. To my left, Councillor Donna Reid, Councillor Mike Devine, Councillor Mike Mann, Councillor Jan Liggett, Councillor Pam Wolf, Councillor Shannon Atshade, and Mayor McGarry. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest, members of the committee? Seeing none, I'd like to welcome our delegations this evening. There is a reminder that you've got 5 minutes to address committee, unless you've got a group that's present, and please let us know if the members are here. We also have the rules of engagement in committee meetings. We ask that you ensure your remarks are respectful and that you refrain from asking questions to the committee. And at the 4-minute mark, you'll hear a bell which indicates you have 1 minute remaining. And once you have finished, committee may ask questions for you to clarify your remarks. And lastly, I thank you for being here. So we've got 1 registered delegate, Shuka Junior Monem. I hope I got your name right. Forgive me if I didn't. But I'd like to welcome you. Is this your group here, the 3 members? Yes. Okay. So I will let you begin. Welcome.
Which which one works? Okay, I can hear me. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chuka Moneme. Here with me today is Megan Hamilton and Neji Oparacha. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you today about a vision we have. The vision I'm presenting today, we're talking about, is a water-themed recreational park for the city of Cambridge. We are looking at the park will be a modern-day pavilion, promenade pavilion that will connect everyone. We are looking at showcasing what will come to be applying to everybody, cultural groups, and we expect that we will get to see the value of wonders. And Megan?
Sego. My name is Dr. Megan Gagwirayanta Hamilton. I'm a member of the Mohawk Nation Turtle Clan from Six Nations of the Grand River Territory. Been working as an environmental consultant for the last 20 years. I'm also working with the University of Toronto right now on implementing truth and reconciliation actions across the university. My interest in becoming involved in a project like this, I also grew up in St. George, so I grew up on the river my whole life, and just seeing a bit of a lack of representation of Six Nations culture and Mississaugas of New Credit, and I see a park like this being an ideal opportunity to represent our coming together of the Indigenous community, settler community, and newcomers to Canada. So I really see two mandates for a project like this, the opportunity for those, which would be to showcase the unique natural heritage of the Cambridge area and also the Grand River watershed. And two would be for it to be an important action towards truth and reconciliation between local Indigenous communities and the city of Cambridge. These two mandates could be emphasized through the creation of built spaces that represent our shared past, present, and future. These mandates could be woven into all aspects of the park features, accomplished through partnerships with local vendors, universities, contractors, students, and artists from the Cambridge area, Kitchener-Waterloo, Six Nations of the Grand River Territory, and Mississaugas of the New Credit.
And the pavilion, which will be one of the features today, the pavilion we're talking about, the project, the park is going to be, focus will be the pavilion and the river. The riverfront is what we're looking at using that as a focus to bring people together, to bring people to enjoy what we're able to create. So the pavilion plan, which you see here, this is actually a rendering from an existing infrastructure of a similar kind in Fort Wayne, Indiana, USA. I happened to have visited that place, the place last summer. I was impressed by it, and we'll be using this as a kind of guide to produce what we have in mind, the vision we have in mind. The renderings, like I said, this is the steps and South Lounge actually existing right now. It's beautiful, a wow effect, very, very nice setup, and you can see I like the picture of the lady there in the wheelchair. It's actually applicable to everybody in the community, and we want to make sure that everybody takes in the beauty of that location. We also have a tree canopy. The rendering here, this is one new innovative structure that they put up there. We will do the same and have this canopy exist such that people can look at the river and see boating events that will be happening on the river as well, taking advantage of that waterfront like I mentioned earlier. Of course, then the canopy, the way they designed it, it leads to a children's play area, which was a fantastic flow, in my opinion, and I believe we can replicate that and even do much better when we have this structure existing in Cambridge. This setup is going to be one of a kind. There's nothing like that. We could have, in Stratford, we have the rivers, we have a canal, we have boats, and we don't have all these features in one location. We're looking at the City of Cambridge as being ideal for this structure. the river flows through the town, unlike every other city we've come to inspect or we thought about. And this basically is why we're looking at this. And in conclusion, really, to develop and plan and design this park and recreation, we would like to collaborate. It has to be a collaborative work with our universities, the University of Guelph. They run a very awesome landscape architectural program. The University of Waterloo, the Cambridge branch, they do have a wonderful architectural department. And, our plan is to collaborate with these guys. We're also talking about working with urban planning SMEs, as well as indigenous communities available to us to create that all-encompassing structure. So that's basically what we are here to present as a vision for the City of Cambridge. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Are there any questions, members of the committee? Councillor Wolf.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Do you have a site in mind?
Yeah, we have 3 locations we're looking at. One is by the Guelph Road, I believe, just after the waterfall. The water flows down a bit more. We're looking at that. And there are 2 other locations. It's all going to be based on the planning. This is all what we have to do, to look at the locations. But we see potential because the river flows through all those areas. The important thing, like I said earlier, is the waterfront we're looking at. So those locations we will check and see what.
So Guelph, like in Hespeler?
Hespeler, yes. Yeah. And 2 other locations that we didn't include that here. We didn't want everybody, we did not want to just have everybody focus on just those 3. It's going to be up to the urban planning team, ourselves, looking at what's applicable, looking at other conservation areas and making sure that we're not, floodplains, for example. We'll take all that into consideration to choose an ideal location for setting up of this park.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Reid.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Councillor Wolf asked my question, but excuse me. I shall go on to a second question that I had then. What do you see as the next steps if this is to proceed?
Well, the next step will be to put together a design team, like I just mentioned. We won't do it on our own. We want to collaborate with urban planners. We need to collaborate with the community, the indigenous community. Megan here would can attest to what those objectives are.
I think it would be for sure determining a site or viable sites that with the river going through it. I know there have been some possibilities, so determining which would be the best site and grouping a team of collaborators together to help implement a design for the park.
It's going to be something which the guys in the States did, because we got an opportunity to speak with the creators of the park in the U.S. And it wasn't just one company. There are actually like 9 different groups of people that came together, both planners and engineers and environmental scientists, and different factors, different people chimed in to look at that location, create that cultural beauty that we're looking at, making it unique. We have to remember the Canadian cultural heritage. We're trying to get that and make that very obvious by this structure. So we think it's going to be something that will require very strong collaborative work from different departments and different groups of people.
Councillor Mann.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you, thanks for the presentation. You've identified, it was interesting from your presentation, I saw what I thought was Black Bridge Road and the Iron Bridge and the new bridge that surpasses that. And I thought years ago, as a very responsible teen, I played out there, I fished out there, I skated, I swam, I did all those things, and I thought, here you are going to make this more structured and more enjoyable for everybody. But my question is, what about funding for this? Because I see something far bigger than what we would normally have as a park. So where would the funding come to help with an initiative of this magnitude?
I would say that I would draw back from my interaction with the builders that I spoke with. for the structure that's existing. They didn't have one city pay for this. It was pulled in from different groups, different agencies, different organizations, different industries in the states who could identify the objective of that. And what they used that site for was looking at boosting the economy of a town. Fort Wayne is 200,000 people, not too many people, but then that part of the town was really seeing a decline in residential patronage and all that. And they used this project to kind of bring people back to it. So the funding was contributed to by different entities, and I see that happening here today. It's creating that dream and trying to get, promote it to the point where we can see value and have different inputs from it. That's the best I can have at this time. Yeah.
Thank you. And just as a follow-up, Mr. Chair, so more collaboration throughout the community to help support this from those who have the similar vision.
Yeah. I see it basically as an economic boost for Cambridge, all in all. I don't know, that's my business partner here. He can explain more about that.
In terms of that, there's a lot of value that could come from this project. From an economic perspective, this can attract a lot of residential buildings like condominiums, restaurants, a lot of businesses coming around that area. And what that means is they're going to pay taxes, right? And then the government can generate some revenue from that investment as well. So,
great, thanks very much.
I sort of envision maybe the initial costs for the design phase potentially coming from the city, and that team to go after bringing in other investors, particularly from industry. I think I see that as the process, but definitely this is just a kind of bringing forth the vision and the idea, and just sort of getting people interested in it, thinking about it. I've worked on other projects such as this. I don't know if you're aware of the Red Hill Valley Expressway. So I was involved in that project in terms of bringing 6 stations into that, and responsible for the parks and the building of cultural features within the valley, and as well as the trail system. So it was, a 5-year project for us, and there were so many different levels, and monies came from many places. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, did you have another question, Councilman? Because
No.
you can ask it, or I can go off to the next one.
I'm finished, but I just wanted to say that that funding initiative is yet to be determined. Thank you.
To Councilor Liggett.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thanks for your presentation. It looks like a wonderful project. Have you had any exploratory meetings with any of our city staff or anybody else within the city?
We had a preliminary talk with Anita some time ago, but that's it, nothing else.
You did, with city staff?
City staff, well, no.
Oh, so somebody outside of the city? Like, I'm just trying to figure out what steps you've gone through so far.
Oh, well, I did meet, well, I'm saying we did meet with Councilor Nicholas. some time
okay.
ago, yeah. Just please stay in it. This is what we have in mind to do, and he was kind enough to say,
okay.
let the council hear it. But that's all we've done so far.
Okay, I would just suggest to sit with city staff to see what pools of money we might possibly have, because monies are available for certain areas of the city and not in other areas. In some areas, they're environmentally sensitive, which you might be stepping into here too. So just a thought for you to take away tonight.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Councillor Devine.
Yes, thank you for your presentation. It certainly is food for thought. It's inspiring. What other communities have you approached on this subject?
I haven't done more.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So what area of the city would you be looking at doing this? Like, have you got something in mind? A particular spot?
The address, I believe, I don't have that with me. It's Grand Avenue, I believe.
Grand Ave?
Down, it's just on Google. It's just after the waterfall. There's a waterfall that comes down the river, and that's one of the locations. our thing is it has to take advantage of waterfront. It has to be a
Well, of course it
waterfront.
does, yeah, of course.
So we look at that entire stretch, bearing safety in mind. It's not going to be before that waterfall. It has to be after the waterfall because we're talking about bolting systems on that water too. So it's all part of what the planning group will go for, trying to put together. Something like this, these guys did this in it took them over 7-8 months to put the whole plan together to get it to the point where the renderings were created. But all these factors have to be considered, and you have to select the location.
That I would also think land acquisition would be
Yes,
would be paramount as well.
Yes, all I know for the land space required about 2-3 hectares of land was what was put for acres for 2-3 acres of land. Yeah. So we think with the waterfront we have, we can replicate and do much better structures.
And we also understand, I'm sure Megan understands, she's been on this river all of her life, I'm thinking, that we certainly have flooding issues.
Yeah.
Okay, and high water issues.
Floodplains, those are all part of it, right? We need to avoid such and stuff.
Okay, thanks.
Councillor Adshade.
Thank you, Chair, and thanks for the presentation, a very visionary concept. I'm just wondering, I know, Megan, you mentioned you were involved with Six Nations project before. I'm just wondering if these guys are involved in any of this similar projects in any other city. Have you done any of this work before?
So this project with the city of Hamilton, I've also been involved with restoration on 407 highway. Most of my background is ecological restoration and landscape design. We've all worked together on some major industry projects, such as I've done environmental for local gas pipeline development, and I've worked with Chuka on that, and we've sort of come together to create this new idea of something that we would like to do that we see a need for, and yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see no further questions. I've got a couple. How much land would like a project like this need in terms of hectares or acreage?
I would say we will need about 2 hectares, which are about 20,000 square meters, 30,000 square meters. With that 2 hectares, that's what it is. It comes out to 2-3 hectares for land space.
It could also be scaled.
It could be
down.
scaled. Like this is what this guy's built, and that's the acreage they have. So for us, we could do something differently and take more advantage of different design parameters to build something more or less land consuming. So, but that's what the vision, the inspiration that we used for this. That's the amount of space they used. The facility with all the features we have, you need to have having safety in mind for our people or for the community. You do need to have that amount of space. Right? So we're taking both sides of the river to work. The playground was on one side and the pavilion on the other, and having everybody being able to look at the waterfront and see the activities on the waterfront was key. So
And you may have touched upon this, but why Cambridge? Is it largely to do with the river system?
Purely, the major thing is the river availability. I mean, the fact that you have both sides, it literally runs through the city. You don't have that. I live in Waterloo. You don't have the river having that sort of interaction with the community. Kitchener, about the same thing. Maybe you have it like it going east to west, I think. But Cambridge stands out as an ideal location because of that water flow, because of it going through the city, and then proximity to the 401 is another good point. And you know what? I'd rather be come to a place like this than driving all the way to Toronto to entertain myself and my kids, and I see that it's close by for me too. Right? So, yeah.
Well, thank you very much for coming in. There are no further questions. So I guess this will be on file and our staff will review it, and that's where it's at. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And have a good night.
Good night.
I'm going to call up Nicole to do a presentation. Welcome, Nicole.
Go to slideshow. Perfect. All right. Thank you. My name is Nicole Drake. I'm the Strategic Initiatives and Policy Specialist with the Corporate Strategy Division, and I'm here tonight to present the 2019 Year in Review on behalf of Brooke Lambert. So to begin, we would like to thank all of the staff, volunteers, and community members who have worked so hard in the service of our community this past year. The document that is in front of you is a reflection of the collective efforts of many across the city, including all of our partners. It's also an important way that we can check in with our stakeholders, making sure that we are accountable and transparent. I'd also like to thank the team from Corporate Strategy and Communications Divisions who made sure that we could highlight the fantastic work taking place last year. Thank you especially to Sherry, to Brooke, to Suzanne, and to Aaron. 2019 was a great year for the city. And if I had to pick one theme, it would be celebration. Under every goal of our strategic plan, Cambridge Connected, there were many steps forward, some big, some small, but all helping us to achieve our vision. To reflect this, the presentation tonight focuses on celebrating some of the highlights of last year and all of the people and projects and partnerships that made it happen. The photos you see tonight are just a few of the ways that the city brought people together. We also have 3 short videos that will be part of this presentation. So, what are we celebrating? Well, we're celebrating diversity and inclusion. In September, the city held the first Newcomer Day celebration. This special event recognized the newcomers, immigrants, and refugees who call Cambridge home. It brought together 60 community partners and attracted nearly 500 participants. Further, the Special Canadian Citizenship Ceremony saw 31 people become new Canadians. We are celebrating grassroots partnerships, recognizing and supporting the tireless efforts of engaged citizens. The Cambridge Neighbourhood Table Pilot Project received funding from both the city and the region to create welcoming spaces for people to connect, share a meal, and access resources. Backbone support for this project will be provided by the Kinbridge Community Association. We are celebrating promoting well-being and safety in our community. In 2019, we created the new Wellbeing Advisory Committee to help the city promote the safety, inclusion, belonging, and well-being of all Cambridge residents. We've expanded our successful ambassador program to further enrich the downtown experience for residents, pedestrians, businesses, and visitors. Further, we've enhanced the city's emergency management planning by developing a business continuity policy and a climate adaptation action plan. A big part of working to keep the community safe is our emergency preparedness. And to this end, the city led a full-scale regional emergency response exercise in October, Operation Hazy Day. It was a simulated truck crash and chemical spill that brought together regional partners such as the Cambridge Memorial Hospital, Public Health, the Waterloo Regional Police Service, and the City of Kitchener. So we now have a short video to celebrate the people in our plan.
Community preparedness is critical for us. As a member of the community, you expect the hospital and the partners to be ready if there's a disaster. We have a disaster preparedness committee that meets every other month. The mock exercise was fantastic. We learned so much, seeing the operations, understanding it, and we were able to take learnings back and improve the way we operate within the organization. There's been a really strong relationship between the city and the hospital, making sure that we're ready and the city is ready. I think the community can be 100% confident in the city's preparedness.
We are celebrating being good stewards for the future. Cambridge, along with the rest of the world, is seeing the effects of a rapidly changing climate. This makes it vitally important to invest time and money into new products, upgrades, and changes that will provide more energy-efficient, sustainable solutions. Continued implementation of our corporate energy conservation and greenhouse gas plan that applies to facilities, fleets, and operations occurred in 2019. This included planning for a green fleet that will provide electric vehicles for building inspection staff and a new council-approved ban on the purchase of single-use plastics. A big focus this year was also the rollout of our smart meter water program. We enhanced our partnership with local environmental charity Reap Green Solutions by providing a touchdown desk at City Hall to better facilitate tree planting programs and other environmental stewardship initiatives. Overall, we achieved 381,539 kilowatts in energy savings in 2019, reducing our greenhouse gas emissions by more than 45 tons. And at the end of last year, City Council joined other area municipalities in declaring a climate crisis and adopting the 80 by 50 target for an 80% reduction of greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. We are celebrating community spirit. Last year, we hosted many free public events, including family movie nights, whimsical Wednesdays, community skate days, Raptors viewing parties, and much more. In fact, the city directly or indirectly supported more than 150 events in the year. Special congratulations also goes to our Christmas in Cambridge team. The festival was named a top 100 event in the province by Festivals and Events Ontario. We are celebrating our neighborhoods. We pride ourselves on offering a wide variety of programs and events for Cambridge residents of all ages. Recreation is one of those things that never fails to bring people together. Maybe it's participating in a friendly game of pickleball, or joining a group pottery class, or attending a festival with friends and family. But recreation provides everyone with an opportunity to get to know their community better. Our city summer camps provided more than 4,200 children and youth the opportunity to forge new friendships and create wonderful summer memories. Beyond our city offerings, we also provided direct support to our 8 neighborhood associations to help provide equitable access to more than 980 programs and events, along with life-enriching summer camp experiences for more than 1,500 children. So now our second video, celebrating place.
I first got involved when I was still working for the city, and I just got hooked, and I've been here for over 4 years. My name is Margaret Pasture, and I teach pickleball. Pickleball is a very active sport.
It's fun, it's relaxing, it keeps people active.
People from 50 to 86 play. You see on the joins. It's actually great because you're playing with different people each day.
I've made a lot of friends, a lot of connections here.
The social aspect for seniors is great.
It's important for the community because it's a lot of fun. When they come out here and play, they're active and they want to keep doing it.
We're celebrating investing in our community. Movement forward on key projects, including the new Cambridge Recreation Complex and the creation of the Core Area Transformation Fund, a major streetscaping project on Main Street in Galt, seeing the development of new sidewalks, lighting, benches, and trees to attract pedestrians and complement the character of the area. We're making a range of improvements to lighting, to public security, and to the amenities at our parks, natural spaces, and recreation properties, including the new disc golf course in Soper Park and a basketball pad in the Timber Creek Parkette. And lastly, we're celebrating collaboration and innovation. An important role of the city is to help facilitate growth by working with private developers and the business community. These efforts were successful in a big way in 2019. Conestoga College acquired 25 Roeder Drive, a 250,000 square foot facility which is set to become the largest skilled trade school in Canada. We also worked with a private developer to open up 300 acres of new privately owned employment land in the 750-acre North Cambridge Business Park. This area represented the last large parcel of industrial lands available in the region, able to accommodate large-scale projects, providing potential for new manufacturing investments. Our previous business park, Boxwood Business Campus, completely sold out in 2019, showing that there is definitely interest from industry to locate in Cambridge. We also saw significant progress on the Gaslight District development last year with the opening of Foundry Brewing and Tapestry Hall, a state-of-the-art event space, which is now the largest in Cambridge.
Well, thank you. Any questions, members of the committee?
One more video.
Sorry. Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
2019 was a great year for economic development and growth here in the city of Cambridge. We've sold out our lands at the Boxwood Business Subdivision. We're opening up additional lands in the North Cambridge Business Park. The Gaslight District project has been a real catalyst for development in the downtown core. We're going to see 8 new restaurants, 400 new condos, a new convention hall. We've made investments along streetscapes, parks, along the river, theater and arts, all those sorts of things that people are looking for and how we attract a talented workforce to live in our city.
While we can be proud of the many things that our staff and community partners have accomplished over 2019, the real measure of success is the way that we're improving the lives of the people who live, work, and play here. Thank you very much for your time tonight. This concludes our presentation, but I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Any questions? Mayor McGarry?
Thank you very much, and not so much a question but a comment. I wanted to thank you and staff for putting this together, and it's a great example of all the things that are happening here in Cambridge. And as you know, and you can tell by the video, it's been an incredibly busy year, not just for staff in our region, but ourselves as City Council, because we attended a lot of the events that were shown here. But we've seen a lot of exciting new projects moving ahead. One of my highlights is really the decision on the new Cambridge Recreation Complex, the creation of the Core Area Transformation Fund, and the fact that we are providing more space for pickleball in Cambridge. Who knew it was one of the fastest growing sport in Ontario? And it has been for the last several years. But you've also shown that our local economy and private investment in our city remains strong. And in 2019, as you've shown here, we really attracted new developments and businesses, as well as marked the groundbreaking of projects such as the Gaslight District. And I'd say that the opening of Tapestry Hall was one of my highlights. I walked in and could not believe I was in Cambridge looking at this phenomenal space. So it's a new, incredible, dynamic place that I think will really help our economy here in Cambridge. But you also highlighted that our city continues to be a magnet for film crews, and we're nominated for a Film Location Award, the only time that's happened in Canada, and it was right here in Cambridge. So very proud of that. And you know, just to close out the year with Conestoga College announcing that they're creating the largest trade school in Canada right here in Cambridge, we know we'll be able to continue to develop the skilled trades that we need to keep our economy strong. And I think the document shows all that with exciting pictures. So I guess the only comment or question that I would have is, do you have just as full a year planned here for 2020 in Cambridge?
Through the chair, of course.
And that's the right answer. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Councillor Mann.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you. I'm sorry, Nicole, I don't really have a question, but I sure have a statement or a comment that I'd like to make, especially on the heels of our budget being passed yesterday. I think what an exceptional way to celebrate our community, and your timing of this report is excellent, with a fantastic presentation highlighting people, place, and prosperity within our community. We do have a strong economy, a vibrant community, and it's all right here, and you have just highlighted it for us all on the heels of a budget where we can celebrate what Cambridge is all about. So thank you so much. Your timing was perfect, and I'm glad we had the opportunity to see this tonight. Thank you.
Councillor Reid.
Thank you, Chair Mehta. I also want to offer my thanks for your presentation, for the wonderful pictures that you have showed us that gives us a really good view of what had happened over the year. You know, sometimes I think we sell ourselves short. We think that maybe we're not doing as well as we could be doing, and then along comes a report like this, and it shows us how well we are doing, how well our staff is supporting this council in how we're trying to build a great city. And so I want to thank you and your staff for the strategic staff who comes forward with this. I've been glancing through this, and my question is, where does this go? Who gets this? And I hope it's a wide distribution, because I really think that for those of our residents out there. They need to know all of the accomplishments that this city has made, and I'm sure that there are many that are simply not aware of everything that has happened here. So if you could give me some kind of idea how this would be distributed, I'd really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Through the chair. So we have, in corporate strategy, we have met with the communications team and developed a communications plan for this document. We only printed about 250 of them, but the digital document is also available on the city website. So it will be a combination. You'll see some information through social media. You'll see the videos posted both online and through social media. We will do a direct mailing for some of them. We will be distributing them as we go to events, and then an electronic mail out and link as well. So we'll be doing our best to spread it far and wide.
Councillor Liggett.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Nicole, I have to say this was very uplifting to listen to and to watch. And there's such a great balance of the demographics of this community in this book and in the videos, and that's really, really good to see. But my takeaway from this was the reason it made me feel that way is because whoever chose these photographs, and I'm sure it was a combined effort, it looks like they deliberately went out to choose photos where there's joy on people's faces, where you can actually see by the fact that they're participating here, they're actually enjoying themselves. So that makes you, the viewer, feel that much better. So, and that's on the part of residents and staff when I'm looking at this. So whoever did this, whoever the group is, just please can you send them my appreciation of that.
Thank you, and it was definitely a team effort, and Brooke did a fantastic job with the presentation as well. So.
I have no further questions. Nicole, phenomenal job. Keep up the excellent work, and it was a refreshing document.
Thank you.
And it's really great to be able to reflect on all that's been accomplished, so well done. Thank you. For the consent procedure, the following items are in the consent procedure. If a member of the committee wishes to comment on the consent items, please let us know using your mic. In the interest of time, we'll look to vote on the consent procedure as a block, but if you wish to comment, you are welcome to. Councillor Wolf, you've got the motion. Please read out the item and the numbers. As a reminder, if you're just commenting on the consent procedure, there is no need to poll it. You'll be given the opportunity to comment prior to taking the vote, and an item may be pulled out if you have a question for staff. So, Councillor Wolf.
Through you, Chair Hamrata, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Adshade, consent procedure, that all items listed under the heading of consent procedure for Tuesday, February 4th, 2020, General Committee agenda be adopted as recommended. Number 1, Arts and Cultural Advisory Committee minutes, November 14th, 2019. Item 2, Cultural Awards Advisory Committee minutes, November 20th, 2019. Item 3, Economic Development Advisory Committee minutes, December 11th, 2019. Item 5, Fire Tanker Truck donation. Item 6, Tate Street and Selkirk Street reconstruction, T 2019-82. OBM Arthur White Sports Bursary Fund minutes, September 18th, 2019. OBM Accessibility Advisor Committee minutes, November 25th, 2019. OBM Farmers Market Advisory Committee minutes, December 12th, 2019. And OBM Outdoor Vendor Bylaw Exemption for Neighbor Market, Hespeler location change. That's it.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Councillor Devine?
Just a question on number 4, maybe.
We're going to be coming to number 4.
Okay.
Because you've got that motion, right?
Well, that's on the consent agenda, number 4, right?
No, it wasn't read.
It was the vendor, the Hespeler Market. That was just put on the consent agenda, correct?
Yes.
Can I ask a question on that? I'm not looking to pull it. I'd like to ask a question.
Yes, you may.
Thank you. On page 14 of the document received today, certificate of general liability insurance in the amount of $5 million. Now, my understanding, and I could be mistaken with this, I could clearly be mistaken, that previously it was $2 million. Has that been a change from $2 million to $5 million? Or was it always $5 million, liability insurance?
Through the chair, thank you for the question, Councillor. $2 million liability insurance is commonly asked for under business licensing bylaw for many of the businesses here in the city. In this particular exemption for this outdoor market, $5 million was requested and was the ask in 2011.
No problem. 2011. Sorry, they didn't start 2016.
Correct. So, pardon me, 2016, pardon me for that error there, was the ask in the report for 2016.
It was? Okay, that's fine. No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I see no other speakers. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? Well, the chair is in favor. It carries unanimously. We're going to deal with item 4, which was the presentation that we just had. Councillor Devine, you've got the motion.
Yes, I also have the other number 4. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Liggett. 2019 year in review. The report 20-008 (CRE) and the 2019 year in review be received for information.
So is there any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? That motion carries. Any other business? Non-jurisdictional items? Close the meeting. Councillor Reid, you've got the motion. Please read it in its entirety.
Thank you. It is moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Devine that the General Committee meeting does now adjourn at 7:47 p.m.
All those in favor? That carries. Thank you.